Hello, everybody. Dr. Rick Wallace here, coming in to you this morning with our first morning session. I'm going to have to be brief with you this morning. Got an unbelievably busy day that I need to get to, but I just felt the need to share this with you. First and foremost, as we've been doing the last few days, we're still on. Anybody who buys Critical Mass, The Phenomenon of Next Level Living, which is my 20th book, will receive a free disc assessment along with a free performance assessment, each worth $350 as a token of my appreciation for the holidays. That's my way of pouring back into people. And the book by itself is phenomenal. It's something that you would want on your shelf that you can refer back to over and over and over again. And also, we have one more spot, at least one more spot for people who want to work with me for a total of a year. It's the Platinum package. It's half off now. Like I said, it's for serious people only. The Platinum package normally is $10,500. At this current time, we are offering it at half off. So that's literally like $100 a week to change your life and have somebody walk you through it for an entire year, hold you accountable, give you their insight, find those little inhibiting beliefs and limiting beliefs that are hidden back so deep you don't even recognize them. All of that. I'm inviting you to take advantage of that for half off. And at $10,500, it's a value, trust me, because it won't be $10,500 after the end of this year. So that's that. Let's talk real briefly. Look, like I said, I got a few minutes. Let's talk real briefly. I posted this today. I've had more than one friend, but I remember at a time when I was really going through something, and a friend, say, "Hey man, let's just sit down for lunch." And I'm like, okay. And he looked at me and I said, "Well, what's going on?" And he's like, "Hey man, I need to ask you a question." I'm like, "What's the question?" "How in the world do you get through these tough times that you go through? How is it that you're always smiling when you should just be folded over in agony? Why is it that you have this smile? I've seen you go through a number of different things. I was there when you lost your father. I was there when you took your first big hit in business. I was there when you went through your divorce. And I'm just trying to figure out how you keep smiling. Are you in denial?" I'm like, "No, dog, I'm not in denial. I'm aware of everything that happens in my life. Here is in simple. I'll explain it to you if you need me to, but in simple, when I'm going through something and you see me smiling, that's because there's something in my spirit that just simply disagrees with my circumstances. That's something that I can hear being communicated to me from the designer through my spiritual existence, through my most intimate part of me, through who I am. And it's speaking to me and saying, this isn't the end of the story. It's speaking to me and it's saying that I built you for greater. It's speaking to me saying that you are built for this. It's speaking to me saying, just hold on and something is about to happen." Yes, I've mastered psychology. I've mastered performance psychology. I've mastered psycho-cybernetics, neuro-linguistic program, neuro-associative condition, quantum physics. But at the end of the day, it's the intimate relationship I have with the ultimate power in the universe. And it's not in a systematic, ritualistic way. It's in this intimate way, the same way I knew my father. It's in the intimate way of same way I knew my mother. It's in the intimate way of same way I have relationships with my wife and my brother. It's a connection. And then I listen through my spirit and the connectivity to the ultimate consciousness that makes me transcendent to what I'm dealing with in any part of this three-dimensional world we call reality or physicality. I'm living at a level in which I can literally remove myself and live in what I'm working for. See, when I'm going through something, I'm simply training. If I'm going through a difficult moment, I'm training. When I'm getting bad news, it's training. When I experience delay, it's training. And the thing is, I've been taught and conditioned to believe that training is preparation for something greater. You train to become better. You train to prepare yourself. You train to go through some things. So when I'm sitting up and I'm going through something and people are looking at me and going, look, somebody who knows about training just popped up, my brother-in-law, Reggie Johnson. I mean, he definitely understands. When you're training, you're not focused on the pain you're going through. You're focused on the promise of what you're going to get delivered in the way of how hard you work in your training, how committed you are, how focused you are. When you are training, you're saying something better is coming. When I go in the gym right now, even though my athletic days are over from a professional perspective, as far as I'm concerned, I'm not even looking at something like that, thinking like that anymore. But I train competitively because I want to be the best I can be. But when I'm in the gym, I'm not thinking about the burn. I'm not thinking about the risk I'm taking with how much I'm lifting. Drives my wife crazy. Be careful over there. You know you just had, and I'm like, look, I'm good. And why am I doing that? Because I've been conditioned and trained to know that what I'm doing isn't what it's about. This is preparation. This is training. This is going through something to make me better prepared. I'm training now to live longer. I'm training now to be stronger. I'm training now to have my body hold up for me, that when I'm 80 and 90 years old, I'm still putting in this work, blessing people with what I have to lift them up and to empower them. And the thing is, it's about training your mind, training your spirit, training your emotions, training your body. All of this and everything in your life has physicality, whether you realize it or not. You've got to be in a situation where you understand that your thoughts have physicality. Your thoughts are moving things in the universe, either on your behalf or against you. You've got to think. But when people ask me, hey, Rick, look, man, you got to be in denial. I'm looking at what you're going through, and I'm over here I'm like, see, that's the problem. Everybody wants the promise, but nobody wants the process. Everybody wants to sit up and talk about what they're going to have and how much they want and how awesome their life is going to be and what kind of impact they're going to have on the world. But they balk at the idea of the struggle. They balk at the idea of hardship. They balk at the idea of delay. They balk at the idea of people not liking them. They balk at the idea of possible failure. I failed a bunch of times, but see, I never looked at it as failure because I didn't quit. See, to me, failure doesn't become final until you quit, until you give up, until you lay it down, until you say, I don't have any more in me. Failure until that point is simply a lesson that you have to learn. Failure tells you don't do this way. Failure tells you need to put a little bit more of this kind of effort into it. Failure tells you that's not the kind of person you want in your circle. Failure tells you what you need to do and what you don't need to do. It's training. When you learn something from something you failed at, you didn't fail, you advanced yourself in becoming more knowledgeable about what it is you need to do. But what I want you to understand, and I mean, I still get charged when I just think about it. Every time that I went through something, my conversation with my Creator was simple. You built me for this, so I dare not ask you to remove me, because I'm aware and conscious enough to know that you won't deliver me from the giants you sent me to slay. I'm going through this, not just for me. Somebody is watching me go through this, and they need to see me triumph. And so I'm going to take the responsibility of the struggle on my back and be prepared to receive the promise associated with it. But my communication is, so I'm not asking you to remove me from this. Don't let me die in it. Don't let me die here. Just let me live long enough. If you wake me up, this was my promise to God at the worst time of my life. If you wake me up, I'll answer the bell. And if you wake me up, I'm not going to beg you for a bunch of things. The one thing, at the time I didn't have my wife. I said, all I want you to work on for me is getting my wife. I got this. It wasn't arrogance. It was this, I had one person say that when you got the kind of arrogance that Rick has, it's just quiet arrogance. It's confidence that's so strong that it borderlines on the idea of arrogance. Me personally, I don't buy into the social idea of arrogance. You got too many people shrinking back in who they are in order to make other people comfortable, because any type of speaking of who you are or being proud in who you are is considered arrogance. No, arrogance isn't acknowledging the beast in you. That's not arrogance. That's self-confidence. That's what you're going to have. Because if you don't have it, there's somebody that'll come along that will be so convincing, they'll talk you out of the idea that you're who you are. So you better know who you are. They called Muhammad Ali arrogant. No, he just knew who he was. You know, and anything I've ever competed in competitively in sports or anything, if you don't have a certain level of quiet arrogance, as they call it, you beat before you ever in track and field. If I didn't believe I could beat everybody that I was lined up against, I lost the race before I ever got in the blocks. It's understanding and knowing who you are, and in many cases being able to emit that so strongly that other people become intimidated. And it's just a part of knowing who you are. But see, to me, arrogance isn't knowing who you are and being boastful in it. That's not arrogance to me. Arrogance to me is knowing who you are, or thinking you know who you are and thinking you did it. Thinking that your mom had nothing to do with it, that the designer, that God had nothing to do with it. Thinking that you I'm a self-made man. I'm a self-made woman. I did this by myself. Nobody helped me. I'm just a beast all by myself. Now, to me, that's arrogance. That's not acknowledging how you got where you are. That's not acknowledging the uniqueness of your design given to you by your creator. The idea of ordering something so specific as to bring the right 23 chromosomes from your mom and the right 23 chromosomes from your father and bring them together to create specifically what was needed in you to do what it is you do. See, I'm talking about something so deep that you got to get out of the physical to live it. See, a lot of you are living in the physical, so you wake up every day and you look at where you're at, and your condition defines your day. You don't give context to anything. Everything is defined by what you wake up to. If you wake up and something good's going on, you're okay until something bad happens. See, I'm smiling even when the bad happens, not because I'm happy that something bad happens. It's because I've already communicated with my spirit, and my spirit has already told me this too shall pass. That's what I'm trying to get you to understand, is that sometimes you get so weighted in the physical, you lose sight of your most powerful element, your spiritual self. Stop being so consumed by your condition that you lose sight of your destiny, that you lose sight of your connectivity to the supreme being of the universe, however you look at it. However you look at it, my thing is, whatever your faith is in, it's got to be in something so strong that it carries the very nature of who you are. It carries your very desires. It carries and supports your courage. It gives you the confidence to step out and move beyond where you are today. At the end of the day, all these different disciplines that I've mastered in order to be able to help my clients, they work great, but I have to establish this context of who you are. It's a self-awareness thing. And when you become aware of the fact that you have a purpose, and the one that gave you the purpose has turned you and unleashed you or loose on everything that's in front of you with the power and the capacity to overcome it and to win and to be triumphant, then you've got to understand, why am I cowering right now? Why am I anxious right now? Why am I worried right now? Why am I frustrated right now? This is simply a part of the process. I must learn how to rise. I must learn how to pick myself up. And most importantly, I must learn to listen to the quiet voice in the spiritual realm that's speaking to the ultimate end. And the ultimate end is good. And that's how I live. That's why I smile. That's why when everything seems to be crumbling down, I don't fold. I'm not stuck in this moment. I'm moving through it. Look, like I said, I got to get off of here. I got to prepare. But I just want you guys to understand that there's a transcendency to the way we move in the world. Most people are stuck in the third dimension. That's a fourth and that's a fifth dimension. The moment you think something, you move it into the fifth dimensional realm. And it's your responsibility to bring that into yourself. And that's coming through believing. But see, the type of belief that is considered faith isn't simply saying that I believe. Everybody that has a belief in a higher power believes in that higher power. They probably believe the higher power is all powerful, all knowing, and a bunch of other things that they've been told and taught to believe about this power. And if you ask them, do you believe in God? Do you believe in the Almighty? Do you believe in the Supreme Being? Yes, 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 absolutely, absolutely. And you believe in some kind of way that that Supreme Being had something that you were placed here for. Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. And you believe in that this, and you'll even hear them say, for instance, my Christian brothers and sisters will be sitting up saying, no weapon formed against me shall prosper. Okay, then why are you worrying? I am more than a conqueror. Then why are you worrying? and he shall lift me up so that I don't. And why are you worried? I mean, over and over again, I hear these cliches, these verses that have become cliches, but I don't see the movement, the activity, and the power that follows them. See, it's not whether you quote it, it's not whether you believe it on the surface, it's whether you believe it at a level that it moves you, that it sets you up, that it provides a standard of performance, that there becomes these levels of expectation. Because remember, God, the universe, life, however you want to look at it, will only meet you at the level of your expectations. What are you expecting? What are your beliefs? See, you can sit up and say, I'm more than a conqueror, but if you're believing that you're going to fail, that the business won't work, that you're going to go broke, that you're going to lose the car, that you're going to lose the house, that you're going to lose your marriage, that this sickness is unto death, then the faith is not faith. It's a distant idea. See, faith, when there's faith, then your spirit is literally testifying. It's bearing witness to the realities beyond what you're seeing in the physical. See, that's what happens when you're in the spirit. You are not just existing in the present. When you're in the spirit, you're literally existing in the past, the present, and the future simultaneously. So then you can see as how many times you should have been, but you're still standing, and then you can see where you're at, but you can also see where you're going. That's what it's about. That's what it's about. So yeah, I've been through some things. I've had some difficult moments. I know what it feels like to hit rock bottom, but I don't know what it feels like to be defeated. See, defeated isn't what you go through. It's not what happens to you. It's the mindset you have when it does. See, you're going to get hit. You're going to get hit hard. You're going to get knocked down. You're going to have some delays. You're going to have some setbacks. You're going to have people who don't like you. You're going to have people that you love that can't stand you. That's going to be a part of it. That's not the end. See, we have quieted our spiritual voices to the point we don't even hear them anymore. There used to be a thing that women love to call it intuition. But it's simply the spiritual voice of insight speaking to you. Every time you meet a person you never met before, the spirit world speaks to you and tells you who they are. But what we've done is we've developed these checklists of what a person should be, shouldn't be, what they should drive, what they shouldn't drive, where they should work, how they should speak, how many doors they should open before we let them in, and all these other things. And we override the intuition or the spiritual voice that's saying, this is a good person, but they don't look good. They look like they may be shabby. So you interpret them as somebody that's trying to get next to you to get something. So you dismiss them. That was your blessing. That was the person that was going to open the door, or the person that was going to make the phone call that gave you the opportunity you need, but you dismissed them. Something in your spirit told you to let them in, but you checked them and they didn't check out. And then there's the other side where they got the look, you know, they pulling you and you're attracted, and they talking the talk and you're attracted, and they got all the little boxes checked off, and something in your spirit said, don't let them get close to you, and you feel it, but you dismiss it. And then they break your heart. They take you for everything you got. They put you in a situation where you lose years out of your life. And then you're sitting up going, what happened? And every time somebody has sit up and told me I didn't see it coming, I sit them down, and over several sessions, I walk them back through their life to the day they met that person, or to the day they made that decision. And they admit, without me ever prompting them, that there was something in me that said don't do it. But I had a wife who was married to a guy for 5 years. He cheated. She sit up and she just swore up and down, I didn't see it coming. I didn't see it coming. He was so loving. He was so attentive. He took care of me. He did all this. I didn't see it coming. And we just sit down slowly without her knowing what I was doing. And I'm backing up. We get back to the depth. Man, so how was it this day you met him? How was it? He seemed such an awesome guy. He said, when I first met him, there was something about him that I didn't like. But what? He had a very good job. He was very courteous. He was chivalrous. He knew how to talk to me. He knew how to treat me and all this here. So you completely ignored the feeling. Yeah. So you did see it coming. You just decided to ignore it. That's the power of the spirit, man. That's the power of what's inside. We see your spirit is how you communicate. It's the connectivity to the ultimate consciousness. The knowing of anything you need to know is discovered through your spirit. Long before you can see it, read it, or hear it, you can know it. With that being said, look, I got to get off of here for real. But keep your head focused on where you're going, believe that you have a purpose, but more importantly, open yourself up and let your spirit witness to you. Let your spirit talk to you and tell you. Listen to your spirit. Find yourself in your spirit. It's the understanding of who you are in your spirit that's going to open the door for so many other things. Look, I got to get out of here, but like I said at the beginning of the video, anyone who purchases Critical Mass, which is my 20th book, that alone, if you knew what I had to go through just to get book number 1 published, to understand, to be able to do that and to start your own publishing company and be responsible for other people's work and do so much, and now be 20 in and having been published by other publishing companies. This is not all me. Other publishing companies have asked me to work and put it and publish my work. So But if I would, what if I would stop when they told me The Invisible Father is a great book, it's well written, it touches some very pertinent issues, but there's no audience for it, and so it would be a marketing nightmare, and we don't want to touch it. That wasn't one publishing company, that was 3. Now, what broke me through, I'm just giving you this, what broke me through with that was one of the 3 contacted me after the fact and said, wow, I can't take you on. I would love to, but I'm not going to get the authority to take you on. What I will do for you is I will do, the formatting. I will do everything. I will get it, the IBN, I get all that, but you're going to have to pay me for it. So it's going to be like you're self-publishing, but you're going to go through a real publishing house to get it done. And so I'm like, okay, if she can do all that for me, I can do it for me. I thanked her, and she's a friend of mine now. But I decided if she can do that, I'm going to literally sit down, read, research, and find everything I can. And I'm going to do it myself, because I'm going to do this again, and I don't want to have to go through this. I'm going to do it again. If I'm going to spend that kind of money into it, I'll spend it into myself learning and doing it. Maybe have some hiccups. Maybe it won't turn out as great, but I will learn. And here I am 20 books later. So anybody that gets this gets the 20th book gets a free disc assessment, which is personality performance assessment, and that's $360 for each. It's 2 personality, performance assessment and disc assessment, and that's $350 value for each one of those. Absolutely on me. All you have to do is order the book, and it'll automatically be set up. Make sure when you order the book, you put the right information in, because I can't help you out if you give me the wrong information. Okay, and finally, for someone who is really, truly serious, I have a couple of spots. I'll make it a couple of spots in my Platinum program, which is a year-long, 52 weeks of direct engagement, of attacking your visions, your dreams, your desires, of personally improving. And it's half price. And like, I normally don't talk prices when I'm doing this, but I want you to know before you contact me, only serious people apply. It is $10,500 full price. That means it's $5,250 at this discounted price. That's $100 a week. That's far more value than you're going to get every time you sit down with me. A session with me by itself is $350. So that lets you know, what kind of value you're getting. And like I say, and when I say serious supply, I don't mean just people who have the money. I mean people who are ready to commit at least a year to changing their lives. You'd be surprised how many people have money and will pay you, but I don't want your money if you're not committed. I don't want you telling people you work with me and walking around doing jack crack in your life. I don't. I want people who are ready to go out and get it, who will put it in, and let's make it happen. With that being said, I got to get out of here. I'm looking, and I'm about to get myself in a bind. But anyway, man, what's wrong with, well, I guess I ain't as far off as I thought I was. I got a little time, but I'm going to get out of here anyway. Look, with that being said, I got to check out. This is what I want to tell you. It sounds cliche-ish, but life is going to be what you make it. Because it's not about what you go through. It's about what you respond to and how you respond. See, there are people that are going to go through the things you're going through, and they're going to look at it and say, life is happening to me. Life sucks. They're going to take a victim mentality that they have no control They have no sovereignty in their world. They have no ability to change their lives. And so they're going to live their lives being beat up by life, being taken advantage of, being hurt over and over again because they don't see the power within them. Then there are others that understand that life isn't happening to them, it's responding to them. And when they know how to create the life they want, life not only will respond to them, it will happen for them. And so they start to create the life they want. Now, they understand that when they make this kind of demand on life, life has a counter demand, and they're going to have to be willing to answer that demand. It's that simple. If I want something great out of life, I've got to be willing to give something of myself. I can't sit around and say, I want, and then not be willing to step out and make it happen, not be willing to step out and take the risk, not be willing to step out and put in the work, not be willing to build sweat equity, not be willing to learn and grow. All of this is a part of success. Learn how to interpret what's happening in your life. Learn how to see it for what it is. It's a temporary moment. Why? Because you're moving. You're constantly moving. You're never static. Well, if it's been there in your life for a long time, you're not literally stuck. That's not what's really happening. You're repeating. Every second is a new reality. And if you keep living the same thing that you lived in the past seconds, you are not stuck. You're moving. You're just repeating. And if you want to take your life off a repeat, change the program, change the thinking, change the talk, change the behavior, change the rituals, change the habits. You change your life. Like I said, I love to help you guys. Email me or inbox me if you want to take advantage of the platinum package. If you want to do something as far as the book, the link is in there. Just order it and automatically you'll get set up for your session with me. We'll do your disc assessment. With that being said, I'm out of here.